Governor Mike DeWine shut down Ohio schools almost exactly 1 year ago. Back then, he said he was on the defense, trying to protect students and teachers from contracting COVID-19.
But now he has a new game plan. Student athletes will no longer have to quarantine if they're indirectly exposed to COVID-19. News 5's Jesse Schultz breaks down the new guideline.
In any sport, you win some and you lose some. But for high school athletes who play spring sports, last year, COVID-19 forced them to lose an entire season.
It's been hard. I'd be lying to you if I didn't say that. It's been challenging.
But with vaccinations rising and case counts falling this spring, those athletes are getting a break.
Kids who we've said for the last few months, if they're in a classroom, everybody's wearing a mask, they're exposed, they do not have to quarantine from school. But the order was that they would have to quarantine from extracurricular activities.
But now, if any student athlete who plays a spring sport is incidentally exposed to COVID-19 in class, but they don't have symptoms and follow sports guidelines, they won't have to quarantine from their team. Dr. David Margolius with Metro Health said the science supports this.
And I think we know so much more about COVID-19 now than we did last spring when everything was shut down.
He said if a student is socially distanced and wearing a mask in school, the likelihood of contracting COVID-19 is low.
The social isolation that kids have had to suffer through this year has been incredibly traumatic. I think any little bit will help for their mental health, their physical health.
Willie McGee, the athletic director for St. Vincent St. Mary, said balancing COVID-19 guidelines for different sports has been trying.
Some of the things that we had to do in football wasn't necessarily all the things we had to do in volleyball.
He said they've been more conservative when it comes to any type of COVID-19 exposure.
You always want to err on the side of caution because you didn't want to jeopardize the whole team and or, that individual.
He says they address every student and their exposure individually. That's why, despite Governor DeWine's announcement for his students, they're going to keep up what they've been doing because in the end, it's a win for the team.
If something's not broke, then don't fix them.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Jesse Schultz.